feel like I've got the same jumper on. Is it supposed to be the week later?
Yeah. Welcome to This Is an Ambitious Podcast, the marketing podcast that is taking the world by storm. Our ambition today is to be so good that you will like and subscribe and build our audience a little bit. That'd be lovely. And why is it ambitious? Well, it's a marketing podcast with Bez for a start. We won't require hours of your time. We're going to keep it short and snappy. We just want to make it better than everyone else's. But most importantly, it's about the importance of ambition, the most ambitious brands led by the most ambitious people. In this episode, we're going to be talking to Helen Dean, who is head of brand and creative at Pets at Home. She's formerly of Chester Zoo and the BBC, so Helen and I have worked together. Our paths have crossed. But first, important question actually, Bez, do you own any pets?
I actually do, yeah. Well, I've got 2 miniature dachshunds.
Yeah, miniature
Right. Ones, yeah. And you know what? I never thought I'd love anything so little in my life either. But these hounds...
As in something small?
Yeah, because everyone thinks of them as lap dogs and all that. But they're actually real dogs, you know what I mean? And the last thing they are is lap dogs.
So how big are they then?
They're only little, but they've got big, massive hearts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're
big personalities,
aren't they? Big personality. They actually think they're proper small man's complex they've got. They're like,
and that's why they hunt and...
Yeah, well, they hunt, honestly, I've had to give him a serial killer's name. They're that prolific at killing. And I call them the hedgerow killers of Cobbler's Grove.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
But I also have bees as well, which are not really pets.
Yeah.
They're like
pets. We
more
spoke to
agricultural.
Livestock.
They could be classed as livestock, I suppose.
We actually got Helen to check if bees were catered for Pets at Home. Turns out they're not.
No, sadly not. But maybe something that we can take into the future. Beekeeping equipment.
So, big warm welcome to Helen. Helen, did you ever think you'd be on a podcast with Bez?
Yeah, I did yesterday. This is quite bizarre, but lovely.
Yeah.
And we've already had a chat about the dogs, haven't we, and the dachshunds. And Bez has said he's a customer of Pets at Home, so we're friends, aren't we?
We are. I'm friends with Pets. You know what? I could not got by in life without Pets at Home.
Oh, well, there you go. Clip that up, and that can be our ad campaign for this year.
There you go. Right, so this is all about ambition, this podcast. So, Helen, what does ambition mean to you?
I guess I was thinking about this, and when I was little, my ambition probably wasn't to be a marketing person. I wanted to be an Olympian, right? I used to do sprint hurdles, athletics, travelled all over the world as a junior athlete.
And you ran for...
Great Britain.
Great Britain?
Yeah.
So I was going to say England, but...
It was actually sport, getting into sport, seeing all the kind of... sexy sponsorships and like brands and marketing all around kind of sporting events that made me think that I wanted a bit of that as well. So kind of when I retired from athletics, I got into that kind of brand world and advertising world.
Yeah. So what sort of, how did you start? What's your sort of route to today?
Yeah, so I did a master's in international marketing, which was really cool. So down in London, handed my dissertation in, and then off I went to Australia to go in and do some cool stuff. I knew someone that worked at Ogilvy there, walked in, basically demanded that they gave me a job, and the rest is history, really. So worked on some really cool clients over in Sydney, like Coca-Cola and IBM and stuff like that. So Coca-Cola, when we were working with Ogilvy, that was like my aha moment of like, actually, this is really cool and we can do some really cool stuff that changes, behaviours and society and different things. So we were the first ones to do the Share a Coke campaign, which was obviously has gone across globally. Saw that when it came out. So that was our idea.
Companies have started doing that
exactly. Everyone copies it.
Everyone stole your idea. You shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've dined off that idea for a while, so it's fine. But I mean, I think just being part of that, the way that it was received and how much attention it got, and it like changed people's behavior. It was a really cool idea. It was like, so that's when I was like, this is what I want to do.
So you've worked with some really big brands like the BBC, for example,
Yep.
and Chester Zoo is a really important brand, and Pet Home. So they're all brands that kind of do good in the world. So with that in mind, what has been your sort of biggest challenge from a marketing point of view? What's the most ambitious thing you've had
Yeah.
to...
So yeah,
to
I
do?
guess like I've been lucky enough to work for brands that like talk to me a little bit, and like we've got like, you know, that shared values, and I think it's important that I work for purpose-led, you know, organizations and companies, and like that's been really important. I think some of the biggest challenges probably, you know, if you think of the likes of Chester Zoo, which is a conservation charity, you know, it's difficult because every pound you put into marketing or like advertising or media,
Yeah.
you have to make that work really hard to get that return so it can go and help, you know, the charity and do the charity's work and be donated, etc. So I think it always comes down to budgets is the biggest challenge. And I think over the last kind of 5 years, 6 years since COVID, things are a bit tighter everywhere for everyone.
Yeah.
Budgets have just got to work so much harder than I think they used to.
Yeah. So with it sort of like budgets being an issue, I think you've got like quite a good reputation for commissioning quite ambitious stuff from personal experience. What has been your biggest achievement, would you say, in terms of working with those slightly challenging budgets of the BBC? Definitely.
The BBC, obviously, one of
They're
them.
really
so
tight, aren't they, the BBC? I've got to say that though whilst I'm on air. God, they're tight-fisted.
they
lot,
definitely,
them.
I mean, I was there for 5 years and they certainly got a lot tighter during those years. With the BBC as well, obviously it's a really great brand name as well. And like people like to work with, you know, companies like that. I think you've got to get the right partners. I think as well, like sometimes you just got to get the right idea and get everyone behind it. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't require millions of pounds to bring something to life. It could just be a really clever tactic or a clever idea that gets people talking. You know, you get the exposure off the back of it. You don't need to have like the big glossy piece. I've got like 2 kids, and this 6-7 thing that came out, you know, this year and stuff like that. It's like, where did this even come from?
What does it even
It's
mean?
like, what does it mean? No one knows. Like, but it's memes, it's social media, it's TikTok, it's all of this stuff. Like, actually, you know, that can shift culture and get your message out there probably more effectively these days than you know, bigger stuff.
How important do you think, therefore, it is to be unexpected in what you do, take sort of people by surprise and not be run of the mill?
Yeah, I think like disruptive, I think is the word that works. People expect advertising, they'll expect you to be like, here's the products that we sell, here's the programs, you know, and all that stuff, and it's that business as usual stuff. And I think then you've just got to find ways where you can really kind of elevate out of that a little bit and like disrupt people and go, oh, I didn't expect them to do that, especially if you're doing something that means you're saying something that means something to people. And that's the sweet spot, isn't it? If you can actually make people's lives better while also selling your stuff, which is important.
So what would you say your biggest achievement has been?
So it's probably back to the BBC days. I think the best campaign, or I don't like to call it a campaign, but like movement that we had was, like women in sports. So Change the Game was something that we concepted at the BBC. Really, really important to generate more exposure for women's sport, you know, more fans for women's sport. It wasn't just a campaign, you know, I took it on myself a little bit to like hassle the execs that make sure that why have we only got one women's sport story on the BBC Sport homepage? That's not good enough. And actually it makes a big, you know, media organisation like the BBC to get behind it, and then other organisations to get behind it. And it's nice to know that I was like just a small part of really pushing that actually for a couple of years, and it's made a big difference.
Yeah. Have you ever been overly optimistic or overly ambitious?
Oh God, no. It's hard to say. I think like all the way through your career, you are sometimes overly optimistic about different campaigns and what they can do and all the rest of the stuff. And I think sometimes things will fly and sometimes they won't. So I think you always have these little, like, they're not failures, but it's kind of like, all right, okay, I stand behind the work.
Yeah.
It was still really good, but it didn't quite,
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't
a
quite
learning
connect.
curve, isn't it? You learn from each
Exactly.
experience.
Have you had any glorious failures?
I'm completely inglorious failure most of the time.
Do you?
No, not really, because for me, I'm not business minded. I wish I was, you know what I mean? And it just goes to show, you as a sportswoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you spotted your next move out of sport into the advertising world.
Yeah.
And what a great start with Coca-Cola.
I know, yeah.
you
I
couldn't
feel
have
like
got
I have had a bit of a dreamy career, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
I feel like
that is a great
might be-
start to your career, though, isn't it? From
Yeah.
sport into like a massive campaign, successful campaign like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was really lucky actually
so-
to get into that.
yeah, did
You'll
you-
be a beekeeper
yeah.
next, right? Remember?
Yeah. Well, did you feel like with the success of the Coca-Cola advert, you could actually go on and do anything now from
Yeah.
the back of that?
I did.
Yeah, the world is my oyster.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously I was over in Australia at the time, and we delivered that campaign, and I decided to come back. Actually, I got a bit homesick and went out to kind of lots of different ad agencies, and I was just like, right, I've done this campaign, employ me. So that was really good. I felt like I was like, the world was my oyster a bit then, and kind of dotted around a few different agencies down in London.
Would you advise anyone to have that attitude if you've clearly just gone for it every single time? There'd been no apologies. You just don't ask, don't get.
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
and I
attitude.
think like I always think as well, like obviously when I kind of went to Australia, I didn't have any like ad experience. I'd obviously done the uni stuff and everything, and there was a job. It probably always says, like 3 to 5 years experience and all the rest of it. And I just kind of went in and I was like, no, I can do this. I'll prove it to you. So then kind of got employed and worked my way up in Ogilvy as well. But I think you just have to, and maybe that comes from the athletics, like
Well, I
just
was gonna
knowing like
say
the
that,
confidence, like I know.
I was going to compare it exactly as that's what I was going to say next. I reckon, from being an athlete, that's giving you the mental strength.
Exactly. And I think as well, the one thing about sport and athletics is also, because I used to do hurdles, I would sometimes fall in races, and they were important races. And you just have to take it on the chin and be like, it wasn't my day. There's nothing I could do about it. It was just one of those things. And I think making sure that you're ambitious and you want to win all the time, but actually if it doesn't work out, you walk away and go next time.
Brilliant. So moving on to Pets at Home, talking a bit about Pets at Home. So what's the ambitions for the Pets at Home brand?
So Pets has always been, a purpose-driven business. The purpose of making things better for pet owners is hugely important to us. The Pets Foundation is a foundation that is attached to pets, but they run as kind of a sole charity. Yeah. They donate over £3 million a year into local animal shelters. We donate to the RSPCA. We have partnerships with the Dogs Trust. So that's a really important side of us as well, that we are not only, through our expertise. Exactly. That's the thing. We call them the pets people don't know that they have. And because every, donations in store, or if you become a Pets Club member, you get like kind of lifelines that go into the charity. It's really important actually. And I think all big businesses that are purpose-led have to have that kind of, we have to help the community that we're in. We have to make sure that, we're doing good in the world, as well as, that retail position as well. So, the ambition for Pets is great. The team there are really passionate about making, pet owners' lives better and the lives of pets better. It's ingrained into everyone that works there.
Can I tell you what I do like about when you go to your shop? You welcome in the shop, and it's quite a nice environment in there, isn't it? With everyone's got
Exactly.
the pets in there, yeah.
Yeah, and you can bring your dogs in, and it doesn't matter. You know, they can wee on the floor, and we'll be like, we'll just clean we'll clean it up.
No. Mine had a big poo in the doorway because this big dog walks in, and he obviously drops a log straight away like that. It wasn't a problem, you know what I mean?
We kind of encourage the carnage. Anyone's welcome. Any pet's welcome. So that's definitely nice to hear, Bez.
So you kind of Pets at Home is obviously leading the way. It's the biggest brand in the sector. How does it stay ahead? Is it that passion piece? Is that the important thing that comes across and people continue to trust it?
We're obviously market leaders, and we don't have a lot of competition with specialist pet retailers, I guess, in the UK. Where we're seeing competition come in is Amazon.
Yeah, all right.
We see supermarkets as well, where people are feeling the pinch a little bit. So we say at Pets that we want to be more for the same or less. So for the same or less is making sure our prices are right. Yeah. And people feel like they're getting great value from us. So we're reviewing prices, we're dropping prices, we're making sure that we're as affordable as possible for people. But this more section is where we need to really lean into to win against the likes of Amazon. Leaning into that more of our expertise, our knowledge, our advice. That's where we win.
So, Helen, has ambition or being overly ambitious ever got you into trouble?
Got me into trouble.
As a question from Simon Gregory, age 7.
Has someone sent that in? Yeah. I don't know, this might have to be one for you, Bez. I don't feel like I've ever been overly ambitious and it's got me into trouble. I feel like I like to push things and see where they go, but I think it goes back to that whole thing of like, actually, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. You take it on the chin and you move on and you learn from it, basically. Yeah, I don't get into trouble.
That's good. Good to know. And what's Dreamland for Pets at Home?
I think it's just continuing to be that backbone, do you know what I mean, of pet care across the UK. We continue to be purpose-led. We continue to do the right things by pet owners. Yeah. You know, that's really important. I know we were chatting before, you know, pets are family. You know, people are more interested in extending their pets' lifespans through health supplements and, you know, all of this really great stuff. It's not just about feeding your pet and having a lead and, you know, all of those things anymore. You know, how can we, you know, use that to keep building, I guess, as that real kind of like pet care expertise and specialists, and, you know, keep combating, you know, the Amazons and all the rest of the stuff which are faceless. Because I feel like it's like I was saying, you know, it's that human touch that we've got at Pets at Home and that human, you know, connection to pet owners. We understand them. Yeah. You know, we understand all that chaos. Yeah. And how can we really lean into that and make sure that we're on that journey with pet owners as well?
So, Ellen, in many ways, I am the Chief Marketing Officer of the Happy Mondays. So I wondered, in order to increase stock turn of our products, in particular the merchandising opportunities, how would you best go about addressing the needs to optimise your own shelf lives and your margins? So, well, if you could keep it brief with me, we haven't got loads of time.
Well, that's a big question. So you're telling me you want to sell some more stuff, right?
Yeah. No, in a nutshell. In a
nutshell. Well, I reckon you just got to keep it simple. So go back to old school. What's your product? Are you selling the right stuff, Bez?
Well, you know what, we're selling music, you know what I mean, and it's quite an hard sell to sell music because you're only as good as your last tune in this business. So to keep producing like the next tune, you know, it's a lot of pressure.
You must sell a lot of T-shirts and bucket hats.
Yeah, well, we don't sell many bucket hats, but we definitely sell merchandise as a big
maybe
part.
Bucket hats isn't the thing then. Maybe you need to venture out into new products. Maybe you should sell socks or something with your face on. Or
Salford Docks, we used to call it. Salfords.
Salfords. Yeah. It always has to be the customer or your fans. Yeah. What do they want? What do they need? And how can you deliver that exactly at the right price?
And
at
the
the right
price
price.
is important as always.
Exactly.
And venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Helen. That's kind of we've covered everything. Do you have any questions for Bez before we go?
Just out of interest, obviously this is the Ambitious podcast. If you hadn't have picked up some maracas and weren't in the Happy Mondays, what do you think you would have done with your
Well, you
life?
know what? I know what I'd like to have done after speaking and spending time with you. Obviously, I got involved in the wrong game. I should be in the merchandising game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been fun and pushing products on everyone. I think I might have done well at that game.
Well, maybe you can always come and work with us if you want.
Well,
if you
there
want.
you go.
There we go. That's a job
I
offer.
am looking for a career change when I reach 65 and I can't dance anymore. Yeah, I might go into...
Send
What
your
happened
CV
if you didn't?
over.
Would you just get an
Well,
electric
pets at
wheelchair?
home,
and
I've just got a job.
wiggle it around? There you go.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you.
Helen, Bez, thank you very much.
Like and subscribe. Ambitious podcast. Ciao for now.